Attachment is an emotional bond with another person. In developmental psychology, attachment theory is the theory that humans are born with the need to form a close emotional bond with a caregiver, and that such a bond will develop during the first 6 months of a child's life if the caregiver is appropriately responsive. To test such a theory, a strange situation test for children was conducted. In this test, parent and the child were left alone in the room, preferably the mother. Then the child explores the room without parental participation. Stranger then a random stranger enters the room, talks to the parent and then approaches the child. Parent then quietly leaves the room. And after some time, parent returns and comforts the child. Now, based on the responses that were seen from different children, how they reacted to this scenario, four kinds of attachment were established. First one, secure attachment. As a child, the way he behaved was he was able to separate from the parent, and whenever he was frightened, he went to seek comfort from the parent. The return of the parents was met with positive emotions from the child, and the child, he prefers the company of his parents compared to the stranger. Now, as an adult, this child will develop a trusting and lasting relationship. He tends to have good self-esteem. He's comfortable sharing feeling with his friends and partners, and he is not afraid and is comfortable in seeking out social support. Second type of attachment that was seen was an avoidant attachment. As a child, this child may avoid his parent. He does not seek much comfort or contact from his parent and shows little or no preference between stranger and the parent. As an adult, this child may have problems with intimacy. He may invest little emotion in social and romantic relationships. He may be unable or unwilling to share thoughts and feelings with others. Third type of attachment that was seen was ambivalent attachment. As the word signifies, that as a child, he may be wary of the stranger, that he may feel uncomfortable with the stranger around. He may become greatly distressed when the parent leaves, and he does not appear to be comforted by the return of the parent. He was seen constantly crying and still frightened even after the parent returned to the room. As an adult, these people, they are reluctant to become close to others. They worry that they constantly worry that their partner does not love them. They become very distraught when a relationship ends. Fourth type of attachment was disorganized attachment. At the age of 1, they show a mixture of avoidant and resistant behaviors towards the parent, and they may seem dazed, confused, or apprehensive. At the age of 6, they may take on a parental role. Some children act as caregiver towards the parent. Now, when a further analysis was conducted on these four types of attachment, the response that on the mother's end that was seen was the children who developed a secure attachment. Their mother was quick in comforting the child. She was very sensitive towards the child, and she was consistent. Consistency is the most important thing, the most important factor that was studied, that a mother was constant in giving comfort to the child. She never even for once she did not provide comfort to the child. She was constant in comforting the child whenever he was frightened. So the child, in his head, he believes that his or her needs will be met whenever he will be in need. In avoidant type of attachment and the secure attachment, this was seen in 65% of the samples that were conducted in the test. Now, and the psychology of the child that was evaluated was the child was evaluated to have a secure, explorative, and a happy state of being. Now, in avoidant attachment, this was seen in 20% of the samples, and the mother was distant and she was very disengaged when it came to the needs of a child. The child, he subconsciously believes that his or her needs will probably not be met, like not sure that he whenever he is in need of his mother or a parent, that his needs would be met or not. Now the child, he's not that explorative, he does not go around the room, he's stuck to one position and he does not explore around, and he's emotionally distant. In ambivalent attachment, this was seen in 10 to 15% of the samples. The mother was inconsistent, like sometimes she was sensitive towards the child, sometimes she would neglect the child. So the child cannot rely on his or her needs being met, and as a result he's anxious, insecure, and even angry. In disorganized type of attachment, this was also seen in 10 to 15% of the sample cases, equally as ambivalent attachment. And in this, the mother was extremely erratic, like frightening, passive towards the child. Now the child was severely confused with no strategy to have his or her needs met, and in response to that, his general state of being was non-responsive, and he was depressed and completely passive to whether his needs would be met or not, and sometimes even angry. So, moral of the story: if you're a caregiver and if you have a person you're close to talk to, and they have a child who's very young, you can tell them that they should be quick and sensitive towards their child, and they should be always consistent in providing him with comfort, and always make the child feel that he's heard, and whenever he would be needing his parents, and whenever he would be in time of need, that his needs would be met. That will lead for the child to develop a very secure and happy relationship in the future.